Let's head back to the voicemail of Truth and Reason.
Hey, love the show. Man, the Browns looked atrocious on Sunday. The offensive line definitely needs work. Deshaun Watson looks very uncomfortable in this offense. You know, they're going to say, yeah, we're getting Nick Chubb back, but where that offensive line is playing, I don't even know if I want him to play. The chance of getting hurt again. Deshaun Watson don't fit what Stefanski wants to do. Stefanski doesn't fit what Watson can do. I just think that was the wrong choice for a quarterback. So to me, that's not the type of quarterback that Stefanski needs. He needs somebody who can stand in the pocket and just run the offense. But Watson's probably still good, don't get me wrong, but I just don't feel like he's a fit for what Stefanski wants to do. And they've got big offensive line problems. Jed Wills came back, didn't look real great. They just don't look good. So I want to hear your thoughts. Go Browns.
As always, appreciate all of the voicemails. Let's welcome in Ashley Bastock, Browns beat reporter for the Plain Dealer, cleveland.com. Ashley, I don't have an answer. The offensive line did not look good. I think Wills and Jones probably didn't want to play him, and they didn't have better options. They neither one looked like they were even 80% movement of what they normally have.
Yeah, I just got done rewatching at least the first 2.5 quarters of the game right now, and it's tough on rewatch to see those guys because you're right. I mean, I think it just looks like they're hesitant. They are not fully, willing to commit to some of these blocks, it seems like. And it's tough. I mean, I think you look at these injuries on this line, it makes me nervous for when Jack Conklin comes back. I think ultimately with any three of these guys, DeJuan Jones, Jed Wills, Jack Conklin, who suffered these season-ending knee injuries last year, you don't want to risk bringing them back too early. And obviously today we still didn't get a final word on Jed Wills and his knee issue and what exactly is going on with him, what his timetable might be from Kevin Stefanski. But it was a tough watch out there yesterday, and it's tough, even tougher, I think, on the rewatch to sit through and watch some of the issues that line was having and just how porous it was, quite honestly.
So, when you looked at the Giants, the one thing I saw and the one thing I realized is, boy, you can't let Malik Nabers beat you. And darn if he didn't go out and beat him. I know you wrote an article about it. Take us through that.
Yeah, so had a chance today once the snap count data and all of the matchup data on Pro Football Focus was out to kind of figure out what exactly went wrong. And we had a chance to ask Kevin Stefanski about it. You know, the Browns didn't shadow Nabers with anybody. They didn't stick Denzel Ward on him and say, hey, you're following him wherever he goes. They opted to keep their corners split left and right pretty much. So once the Giants, I think, realized that Denzel Ward wasn't following Malik Nabers, they felt like there were certain advantages they had when he was going up against Martin Emerson. I mean, it sounded like Malik Nabers watched a lot of film on Martin Emerson. He talked after the game about how he actually suggested the play that scored his first touchdown to Daniel Jones and the coaches because he thought that he had sensed this pattern with Martin Emerson in the film that he was undercutting routes, and that's exactly what he got him to do on that play. And he got him pinned on his back hip and was able to go up for that acrobatic leaping grab in the back left corner of the end zone. So looking at that data, all three targets that Martin Emerson was defending Malik Nabers for, he caught all three of those passes. It was good they were all good for, I think, 43 or so yards. So more than half of his total yardage in the game came against Martin Emerson. Now, Denzel Ward actually had more targets, which I was surprised about seeing this morning because it seemed like Martin was just on him more in that game. But I think it just seems like more because he did much more damage going against Martin Emerson. He caught 2 of 4 passes going against Denzel Ward. Those were only good for 8 yards, only 1 yard after the catch. Obviously, no touchdowns going against Denzel. So I think ultimately the Giants found a good matchup. They exploited it. They exploited some of these tendencies that their rookie was able to realize from film study, and they just took advantage in a way that this Browns defense was not able to counter. Kevin Stefanski today didn't go into much detail about why they didn't shadow him, just that sometimes we see something in matchups and we decide to stick with left or right. So I'm not sure exactly what they saw, but I think they were focusing on the wrong things based on what we saw on Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, Nabers, as I'm watching them, I'm like, That's why you take a guy high in the first round as a wide receiver.
Yeah.
There's just something about him.